How you doing? Yes. This is Wayne S. Pierce for American Liberty Radio Network. How are ya? You're listening to Tight Perm by Silent Partner. You can go find that on YouTube. It's one of those pieces of music that YouTube allows you to use. So Anywho, this is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. You know, I get into this argument every so often. Well, not really an argument. We don't yell, we don't scream, we don't throw things. But I get into this intellectual argument at times of grammar, of comprehension. I become a grammar police officer when on Facebook when I see all these things, these words, these run-on sentences, no punctuation, all this, right? This morning just got to me, man. This morning was just one of those mornings where, holy crap, man. So I posted something about, not about, I'm going to quote it to you because it's something that I wrote. So I'm going to read it off of my personal Facebook page at waynespearce.com. And I said, okay, folks, there's nothing I can say anymore. Seeing misspelled words, run-on sentences, etc., I'm wondering, how many people out there graduated from high school, could write incomplete sentences, use punctuation, and actually sound as if they had an education? I partied through my senior year of high school, and I still managed to graduate. And your excuse is? And it went from there. Now, here's the argument. I'm not going to tell you who it was, but if you go to my page, you'll find out. They said most people do the best they can. Maybe we should not judge someone for their level of grammar, spelling, etc. A lot of people have great ideas or insight, but are afraid to comment for the fear of being ridiculed. Maybe we should not so much focus on being grammar police, but just encourage individuals to share what they have to say. Well, it's a good point, and I really like it. Okay? I really appreciate that point. But the fact is if you are not able to put words in your head and form them in a manner to which other people will comprehend them, understand them, be able to really grab hold of what you're saying and go with it, then there's a problem. There's a huge problem. I've studied grammar, English. I'm a freaking English major. Hello? I know. Sometimes I don't form the words in my head because I'm not on a script or I'm not on this or I'm not on whatever, There are certain elements that require me to be comprehensible. This show is, I don't have a script, I don't have a teleprompter, I don't have any of that. I just go off the top of my head, okay? I say what's on my mind, pretty much. My mother was, I have to laugh because my mother once said that I don't have a filter. She said that once. And I said, what do you mean, Mom? And she's like, well, you say what's ever on your mind. And I'm like, yeah, because that's just the way I am. And she goes, yeah, sometimes that's not called for. And I went, well, I know. And, and we talked about that. My mother was a very educated individual, and so am I. Thank you, Mom. My grandmother taught me a great deal before she passed away when I was 15. And I got to tell you, very educated family. So when I'm not judging people, I'm not ridiculing people. So if that's the impression that this person got, I don't know what to say. I'm totally stumped. I don't know. So I literally want people to understand what it is I'm saying. That's number one. Number two, I want people to take away from that and from that experience and understand what's going on for a purpose, or whatever the purpose they decide it should be for, then okay. But I'm just telling people what's going on. I'm showing flaws and faults in people, and I've done that before years ago, and people were kind of pissed off as they are now, because I know for a fact people have a simple form of intelligence to understand what's going on. I know this. I see it every day. But for someone to get the impression that I'm ridiculing people, that's totally wrong. And as I said before, for someone else to understand what it is I'm saying, what you're saying to other people, whatever, you have to be able to form that thought in your head in such a way to where it is understandable to the other person. The greatest thing that I grew, well, not great, I say greatest, that's that's a little much. I would say the best thing in my life growing up was having books. I mean, I'm not talking, green eggs and ham. I had that too. But I'm talking encyclopedias. I'm talking history books. I'm talking books that my mother bought, for herself. Things about the garment district in New York in the 1930s. I'm talking about, history of, the Americas prior to Western Europeans coming over here. I'm talking major freaking books that an 8-year-old should not be able to understand, but I went through them with a great deal of understanding because of my mother. Okay? 8 years old, folks. Reading books. By the time I was 11 or 12, I was reading, books about quantum physics. I was a nerd, if you want to call me that. I really wasn't, because later on, by the time I got into high school, I drank and partied through my senior year of high school. And I could have graduated with straight A's. I could have been, at the top of my class, but I didn't. Why? Because by the time I was in the 9th grade, I knew a lot of stuff. And by the time I was in the 12th grade, it became very boring. I mean, I'm talking boring to be sitting there learning the same thing that I just learned 4 years ago. And I just breezed right through it, of course, but I didn't care anymore. Okay. Was that a detriment to me? Probably. Because I could have went on. I could have got to college. I could have, all that. But I didn't, because I was bored. And I was partying all through my senior year. Well, not all of it. Part of it. About 3/4 of it. I was partying through it. And I barely graduated by the skin of my teeth. My English teacher at the time told me personally, had me stay after class and told me personally, she goes, it's Friday and we got a good weekend coming up and everything. And she goes, this past Tuesday, I was supposed to hand in your grades to the administration so that you can, graduate. She goes, I'm going to hold off. And I'm like, all weekend, I'm like worried because I didn't know whether or not I was going to graduate. Monday morning, when I went to class, or Monday afternoon, actually, because it was one of my later classes, she told me, she goes, I'm turning your grades in tomorrow. I've got them all. I'm turning them in tomorrow. And she turned them in. I know, because I had insiders. Yeah. So people told me, yeah, she turned them in. Tuesday. 2 days before I graduated high school. 2 days, okay? So, yeah, I was bored, okay? And I told her that too. I said, I'm bored. I've known this stuff for quite some time. And she goes, yeah, I know, yeah. She goes, I've looked at your scores. And I'm like, oh, really? So, coffee, love it. So comprehension, which is basic understanding. Forming things, thoughts, ideas, sentences, to where it's comprehensive to other people is a key thing in a discussion. Now, I know, you're sitting there going, you're grammar police. Well, yeah, today, tomorrow, probably not. You know? But, yeah, so a little behind the scenes about me, but, you know, it's just one of those things. Yeah, I sat down with somebody years ago, before I left California in 2006. I was talking to a friend of mine, and they said, and they knew, they were right up there with my intellect as well, and they said, you know what saved me in all the arguments? This is my friend talking to me, telling me how he structures his, life and who he talks to and who he hangs out with and all that. And he said, what saved me in my life is not arguing with idiots. And I sat there and laughed like I am now, because I thought to myself, not everybody's an idiot. And I knew this because of certain things that I've experienced in my own life. And it was laughable, and we both laughed at it. And I said, well, in a way, not everybody's, an idiot. I mean, they have a certain, level of intelligence where they can be able to tie their shoes and drive their car. And he's laughing at that too. But I meant that, and he was, at that time in college, and he was just, finishing up. But it's amazing how people look at me and think, and here's the reality of it, folks. People look at me and think I'm stupid. They do. And that's laughable. And I'm just saying that because I want to dovetail all of that into this. There are certain things in life that when we can go out and walk around the mall, go to the gas station, whatever, and we can see this stuff. It's just out there. And we see people who we think absolutely don't know what's going on. I see it. I'm sure you guys see it. I'm sure it's there. But, and I chuckle. But here's the thing. You don't know what they know. Hence, you don't know what I know. Hence, I'm giving you the information for you to see. These people out there, you see them, you experience them every day. You know they're there. You see them. They're there. You're like, oh my God, why did that person do that? You see it every day. You don't know what they know. I don't care about what their life is like. I don't care if they, had a bad morning, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. What matters, and the point is, you don't know what they know. You don't know what they know. You don't know what I know. But when I see posts on Facebook or, somewhere on Google Plus or Twitter or whatever, misspelled words and all this, it makes me wonder. It definitely makes me wonder about the level of education these people have. Again, I don't know what they know. And is it possible to know nothing? Is it possible to know as much as you know and still go, I don't want to know it? Is it still possible to do? Of course it is. If you read Peter Ralston's book, I haven't read it yet. I know my better half has read it. It's called The Book of Not Knowing. Peter Ralston. Go check that out. I haven't read it, but, she's read portions of it to me and stuff like that. And Very, very good from what I've heard so far. But if you look at other people in your life and say, wait a minute, hold on, time out. How educated are these people? Why are they saying what they say? Why are they doing what they're doing? Why are they in the position that they have, but they have absolutely no common sense? And what is common sense? That's the other thing. You got common sense, you got comprehension. Yeah, they work together quite well, thank you. But at some point, you're going to have to admit that, number one, you're wrong. Number two, you need to be educated on certain things. And number three, you're going to have to develop those skills to be able to talk to people in a way that's going to help them understand. That's basically it, folks. Again, though, remember, you don't know what the other person knows. And I say that on the predicated on the thought that people look at me and think I'm stupid. So that's where I'm getting that from. So, you know. And I'm not ridiculing people. And I'm not putting people down. And I'm not, it's not this judgmental attitude that I have towards people. It's just the reality of everything. It's just the reality of everything. It happens. I mean, this person said here, a lot of people have great ideas or insight, but are afraid to comment for fear of being ridiculed. I'm not ridiculing anybody. I'm just stating fact. There's some ignorant people out there. And as far as I'm concerned, I think if they have some small amount of intelligence, they'd understand that and go educate themselves on, certain things. I don't know everything. Let me just I'm going to blow your bubble. I don't know everything. I don't care to know everything. I don't want to know everything because I'd be bored because there wouldn't be anything else to learn. And on the other side of that coin, no one is completely right and no one is completely wrong. I'm not right or wrong about anything, but that's from other people's point of view, of course. I know how I am. But see, I may have overlooked a few things. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm wrong. Just means I overlooked a few things. That's all that is. So I go back and I look at it and I go, oh, I missed something. Okay, here it is. No big deal. Other people are the judgmental ones that say that I'm right or wrong. If I know that somebody is completely wrong about something, I'm going to call them on it. I don't have a problem with that. I'm going to call them on it. But if I want to hear them out and hear their train of thought and see where they're going with that thought, that's fine. I'll do that. As a matter of fact, I do that about 99% of the time anyway. But because and here's the other thing with that, don't interrupt people, because whatever question you have is going to be answered by the person talking or by what you're hearing. Your answers are going to be there. You don't have to interrupt people to ask. You don't have to talk over a program or anything of that nature to ask questions. No. The answers are going to be there. They may not be the way you want them, but they're going to be there. I learned that the hard way, folks. Okay, this is how I know this. I've learned this the hard way. Okay. So, and this person goes on to say, maybe we should not so much focus on being grammar police, but just encourage individuals to share what they have to say. Well, if that's the case, then that person better be educated enough to be able to form the words to be comprehensible to other people. I think that works. That's pretty much common sense right there. But I've spoken about that for 20 minutes, so yeah, folks, it's one of those days, man. One of those days. Yep. It's just, it's Thursday, folks. It is, maybe I didn't do this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I didn't give you the date. It's the 7th of September, 2017. So there you go. But lay down all your preconceived ideas and just get rid of them. Just throw them out because there's no reason for them. Okay? Absolutely no reason for them. Absolutely. None. Zero. Zip. Zilch. None. You don't need them. Okay? I'm going to go to break, folks. Just a little one. I'm going to be back.
The guns of freedom are ready.
Wow.
The soldiers are on the front lines. We the people have the power. We are America. AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
Wow, I press a button and this shows up. Okay, great. Yes, we are. Thank you very much. We are American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Yes. I'll be back right after this.
Late Night in the Midlands is for the people, by the people. No shady backroom deals here. We expose the truth, no matter who it leads to. We are an independent media who holds no one above the truth and have no alliances and no agenda. We offer our shows absolutely free because the truth will set you free, and we believe it should be free. However, we do ask that you donate, and we also offer subscriptions to help support our work and keep LNM on the air. We are not mainstream media that is owned and controlled by the New World Order. We are not alternative media that has been infiltrated with paid agents in wild fantasy. No. We are a free-thinking, free-speaking, tell it like it is, independent media that just happens to cover everything but not fall for anything. The best guests, the best information, Late Night in the Midlands, independent media exposing the truth, one show at a time.
American Liberty Radio Network. Sharing the truth one fact at a time, without all the BS. This is the American Liberty Radio Network.
Hey folks, how you doing? This is Wayne S. Pierce. American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Yeah, folks. Yeah. Pressing buttons here, trying to get stuff done the right way so that you can understand what's going on. Yeah. I was sitting back yesterday after the podcast, and I thought to myself, I need a producer. I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm a one-man operation, folks, and I'm looking to expand. So that's why I say that. I need a producer. I'm looking to expand. So, just a heads up. That's all. I'm a one-man operation, so I'm sitting in front of my computer with, everything I need, and I'm doing it all myself. So there you go. So, anyway, go check out Mr. Michael Vera over at Late Night in the Midlands when you can. LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Check that out. Russia collusion lie, quote, one of the great political crimes, unquote, in history. Media's narrative begins to collapse. Paul Joseph Watson, Infowars.com, 7th of September, 2017. California Congressman Dana Rohrabacher, is that what it is? Sorry, Dana. Says the Trump-Russia collusion con job is one of the biggest political crimes inflicted on the American people in history. He blamed the politicization, is that what it is? Politicization? Yes, some words I cannot pronounce. Of the intelligence agencies for the witch hunt that has dogged President Trump since he won the election. Now, without me butchering this article, I'm going to put it on American Liberty Radio podcast. I find it incredibly odd, and odd in the sense of what the hell odd, that people would go after President Trump. Okay? I have never seen this much resistance to making America great again, or making it better, or getting rid of all the bull crap in this country that's holding it back. I've never seen this much resistance to freedom, to liberty in my entire life. And I've been on this planet for a little bit of time, folks, but I've never seen this much resistance for against peace, freedom, liberty, and security for this nation. Never have I seen this. That's on American Liberty Radio podcast. I like coffee. I'm drinking cinnamon-flavored coffee. Cinnamon dulce. Leftists spew hate as White House or White Houses. That's weird. Leftists spew hate as White Houses announces charities Trump will donate to. Speaking of grammar. Haters still can't stand that president is donating $1 million to Harvey relief effort. Oh, yeah. That was something else. And I'll read it after I get this posted. On Wednesday, the White House released a list of charities that President Trump will donate to as part of the Hurricane Harvey relief effort. And the leftists were once again triggered into spewing hate. Shall I go on? No. I'm going to let you go read this. I'm giving you the articles, folks. I give you my opinion on them. I give you the articles. You guys go and look at those and assess for yourself what these articles are. Draw your own conclusions on them. I'm hanging out there, folks. I'm literally at the brink of just completely wanting to walk up to a damn liberal and shake them to the freaking core. That's all. That's all it is. Lay that right there for you guys to take a look at. American Liberty Radio podcast. On my personal Facebook page, Wayne S. Pierce, I wrote, has anyone had bad experiences with the Red Cross? And I put the person's name here. This person that I've named has done some research and found out a few things. It'll make your blood boil. Yeah. And yeah, let's just say this person is very, very upset with the Red Cross. Very upset. We're talking up freaking set. Okay. The Red Cross is not something you want to donate your money to. I've known this for well over 20 years. I've literally seen what they do, okay? And it literally, from what I've seen, they don't give anything as far as help to anybody. They may do a little bit here and there just to make it look good. You know what I'm saying? But for the last 22 years that I've been looking at, various organizations and charitable organizations, I can tell you this much. Yeah, the Red Cross is not something you want to donate to. Just look at their CEO. Look at how much they make and yada, yada, yada. Follow the money. Connect the dots. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Sean Hannity. Sarah Huckabee Sanders destroys The View's Joy Behar on air. Okay? Yeah. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders went head-to-head with View's Joy Behar on Wednesday, telling the liberal comedian she was, quote, pushing a false narrative, unquote, and that all patriotic Americans should want president to succeed. Fireworks exploded after Behar pressed the press secretary over a recent report that baselessly claimed that 95% of the President Trump says is not factual. That's in quotes. Quote, is the media supposed to not report on the fact that 95% of what he says is a lie, unquote, asked the liberal host. Quote, this is what Sarah Huckabee Sanders talked about and replied to Joy Behar with, quote, the problem with that, Joy, is that you are doing exactly what we're talking about and pushing a false narrative, unquote, fired back Sanders. Quote, 95% of what the president says is not a lie, unquote. Okay, I'm just, hold on to that thought. Behar responded, quote, it's not just the dreaded New York Times, it's other outlets that say it. 5% of his statements are true, unquote. Quote, I feel sorry for you that you have to go out and defend those lies every day, unquote. Here's what Sanders said. Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She says, and I'm going to quote this. It's got two more lines after this, and I'm going to post this. Sarah Huckabee Sanders told Joy Behar, quote, again, I completely disagree with you. I know that is simply not accurate, and I think that's one of the dangers that we have right now. We are pushing so many false narratives every day. We're creating false perceptions about the president and, frankly, inhibiting his ability to succeed, unquote. Quote, I think America should want him to succeed. He is the president, whether they voted for him or not, and I think that we have to get behind him, unquote. Well, she added, quote, we should be championing his success because his success is America's success. There's a video in this where you can see the same thing and hear this whole thing. So I'm going to put this on American Liberty Radio Podcast. That was the whole article, folks. Sometimes the articles are really short, so I can breeze right through them. And I got to tell you, I mean, I just have to be straight with you folks because I want to be. And that is, we have a situation in this country that is the cause of the division in this country with everyone. And I'm not talking just political. I'm talking ecumenical. I'm talking educational. I'm talking, the halls of academia are filled with people like myself who know what's going on and are trying to disseminate that information out to other people in these governmental indoctrination institutes, and those liberals and fascists and Marxists and all those people walking around those halls are going, yeah, you're stupid, go away. We don't want to hear you because, we got prestigious positions that we have to vie for. My daddy spent $300,000 putting me into this college. I don't want to hear you little people. This is what you deal with in these Yale, Harvard, Columbia universities. Okay? I've sat down with at San Joaquin Delta College, which is a community college in Stockton, California. And I've sat down with friends of mine, with other people, with instructors at the school, and literally spelled out what it is I knew. And guess what? They sat there with their mouth gaping open going, where the hell did you learn all of this? Because they were blown away by the information I had. And this is back in the 90s. This is like 96, 97. And yeah, I know these people. I know these instructors. They're probably retired by now, but I know people. I sat down with friends of mine over coffee at little coffee shops or at church or at this, and I told them exactly what I knew, and they sit there going, oh my God. Yeah, don't judge a book by its cover, folks. That's a true, statement. That's a, truism right there. Don't judge a book by its cover, because you have no idea what goes on in my head. And I don't know what goes on in yours. But if you sit there and accuse me of false information or whatever, who's the one that's the idiot now? I'm not ridiculing anybody. I'm just stating fact. There's absolutely no way, as I said, there's no way that I can tell anybody, how things, I can't really help people understand something if they're not willing to or able to understand it. I can't do that, and neither can you. I'm just saying, I may go into overdrive because I want to. But the facts are the facts. It's out there. Take the number 1. Put it next to another number 1. What do you have? Count them. You have 2, right? It's that simple, folks. You grow from there. Okay? You don't learn algebra right out of the womb, do you? You have to know your numbers. You have to know what 1 and 2 and 3 are. You have to know this stuff before you can sit there and learn and know trigonometry or know, quantum physics or anything like that. Am I right? I mean, it's simple as that. You have to know what you're talking about before you open your mouth. So, I mean, that's me, folks. That's just me. That's, hey, I'm just hanging out here in, Montana and enjoying the fires and the earthquakes and all of that. And who am I? Who am I? Right? I'm not a grammar police, but I will, turn on the siren and let you know where you screwed up. Anyway, I passed the bottom of the hour break. That's no big deal. There's, like I said, I may go into overdrive. There's so much going on. We've got fires in California, Nevada, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. We've got, and along with that, folks, we have earthquakes in California, in Nevada, in Wyoming, in Montana, in Idaho. We have, it's kind of coincidence, got fires and earthquakes going on. We've got stuff happening in the central portion of the United States. We got all that. We got flooding in Texas. We got Hurricane Irma that just hit Florida. Folks, enough. Don't criticize me for talking the way I do when you got more stuff going on in your area that you need to pay attention to. Arguing with me ain't gonna change things. And I say it all the time. If you're going to assert or accuse or claim something about me, put the stuff on the table of debate and we'll talk about it. If not, there's the door. Bye. Have a nice day. It's as simple as that, folks. 1 + 1 = 2. 2 - 1 = 1. There you go. It's simple as that. I try to keep it as simple and understandable as I possibly can. But people are going to argue because they think they're right. Well, no one's completely right and no one's completely wrong. So take that with your spoon of sugar in your coffee this morning. Because that's just the way it is. Not because I say so, but because that's the way it is. No one is completely right and no one is completely wrong. Just get rid of your preconceived ideas. Just completely get rid of them because you don't need them. I'll be back right after this.
Greetings, this is John LeBang of The John LeBang Show, and you're listening to the American Liberty Radio Network.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Growing up terrestrial radio, the future is here. Destroying the liberal media one truth bomb at a time. Independent media is shattering the liberal national security media into a million pieces. Their views of the world are based on the script the government gives them. Independent media seeks out and finds the truth and reports on what is truly going on behind the scenes. Support the truth and facts. Support independent media.
Hey folks, how you doing? This is Wayne S. Pierce for American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. So how you doing? You good? 7th of September, 2017. Can you believe it's September already? Where did the year go? Are we? We went into an art store yesterday. A famous, well-known art, hobby shop type thing, Went in there yesterday. And we were looking around and we're walking around, we're looking at stuff. And we saw, get this, we saw Thanksgiving, we saw Halloween stuff, Thanksgiving stuff, and Christmas stuff in one corner of the store. I'm thinking to myself, why don't we just leave all of it up all year? Okay, because obviously it's getting, they're bringing out all the decorations and all that sooner every year. This is September, folks. They were bringing it out like a month and a half ago, really. But it's like, excuse me, wait a minute. We haven't even gotten to Halloween yet. We haven't even gotten to Thanksgiving yet. And you're already putting out Christmas stuff. We need, in a way, I understand that because I've taken business classes. In a way, I understand that. It psychologically puts it in your head like, oh my God, it's coming up. Oh, you've got to do this. Yeah, I get that. Okay, I've studied psychology too. So it's, so literally, I had to laugh yesterday because this stuff is just, it literally makes you think, wait a minute, why are they bringing this out? That's number one. Why are they bringing this out so soon? To me, if I owned a store like that, I'd be bringing out the Halloween stuff right now, leaving all the Thanksgiving and Christmas stuff later. And then at the end of Halloween, when that's over, come in the next day, put out the Thanksgiving stuff. And then when that's over, come out and put in the Christmas stuff. That's what I would do. That is how it should be done. Why? Because you don't drive people totally insane with having to think, oh my God, Christmas is coming up, and all that. But again, on the other side of that coin, you have the old adage of, it's going to get here sooner than later. It's going to be here before you know it. That's what it is. It's good, So I understand why they do what they do. I've taken business classes and I understand how, fundamentally, I understand how businesses work and how they should work, but 99.9% of them out there don't work that way. Oh, maybe I overestimated. Let's just say 80% of them. Just to be a little more conservative, But anyway, I'm going into overdrive, folks. I'm just going to take it to another level. Oh, okay, folks. Let's switch gears here because I want to, because it's my show. If it was your show, you'd do whatever. Wouldn't you? Seriously? Yeah. So anyway, let's go to this here. Now, in Nevada, we've still got some political prisoners in prison in Pahrump, Nevada. Okay, I think it's Pahrump. Is it Pahrump? I don't know. But they're in the prison down there. 2 Bundy Ranch defendants forced to face trial. Idaho State Legislature signed a letter asking Sessions to back off Bundy prosecutions. Jerome Corsi, Infowars.com, 7th of September 2017. Evidence is mounting that an Obama-nominated federal judge is determined to continue trying Bundy Ranch defendants until they are found guilty. In other words, you want to talk about a witch hunt? There's one right there. If you want to know any more in detail as to what's going on, go to either Deb Jordan or Ashley Jones on Facebook. Deb Jordan or Ashley Jones on Facebook. They'll fill you in on, and tell them I sent you. They'll fill you in on what's going on. U.S. District Judge Gloria Navarro has decided to force 2 Bundy Ranch defendants to undergo yet a third trial scheduled to begin on October 10th in what is amounting to a quote-unquote revenge prosecution tracing back to former Democratic Majority Leader Harry Reid. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there and put this on American Liberty Radio Podcast, of course, but here's my opinion about it. And that is, Judge Navarro needs to be taken off the bench, number one. This is a travesty to the rights of the people who have already been exonerated and acquitted for what they did. She's forcing these people to go back to trial, which she needs to be taken off the bench immediately. Ladies and gentlemen in Nevada right now, I want you to do this. Go to that courtroom. Go to that court building in Clark County and inundate that building with your presence and yell and scream and demand that she be taken off the bench. Oh, and by the way, did you know that Harry Reid, either he's retiring or has retired? I want you to go force the Clark County Sheriff's Department to arrest him and charge him with a huge amount of stuff. Crimes against humanity, crimes against citizens, crimes against landowners, and corruption and conspiracy to commit corruption. And can we just add a whole bunch of stuff there? Because Harry Reid is a criminal. If you go back in his family history, oh yeah. Yeah, that criminal doesn't fall too far from the tree. But yeah, go demand that she be taken off the bench. She's forcing already acquitted people to stand trial for a third time. Okay? Well, let me do this. It's on American Liberty Radio Podcast, but let me do this. In a trial that ended August 2nd, Stephen Stewart of Idaho and Ricky Loveland of Montana were found not guilty, while Idaho residents O. Scott Drexler and Eric Parker were acquitted on most charges. Okay. So far, you're on the page, so okay. But a hung jury deadlocked on assault and weapons charges for those two defendants, voting 11-1 on 2 charges for Drexler and 4 charges for Parker related to the 2014 Bundy standoff. Okay, they were acquitted of most charges. Navarro's going back to grabbing what's left and trying to make something of that, making a mountain out of a molehill. She's trying to get these people and force them back into prison. Because, and I'm going to tell you straight up, if it has anything to do with Harry Reid, the reason why she's doing this is because she doesn't want, and neither does Harry Reid, want patriots out there fighting for bringing America back into the greatness that it is. They don't want people to defend peace, freedom, liberty, and security of this nation. And Judge Navarro, holding hands with Harry Reid, is doing just that. They're fighting against the American people because the American people, these folks as well, want peace, freedom, liberty, and security for the United States of America. Go and force that courtroom and force the Attorney General of Nevada to pull her off this case, period. Make that happen today. Send me pictures, send me videos, post live Facebook broadcast. Please do this. This is a travesty of the rights of these people. Pull her off the bench. Now, no, we are, hey, if 3% of the population of New England prior to the inception of the United States of America fought back the British Army and won, what do you think you can do in this case on a small scale? Trust me, when you go out and force the state of Nevada and the Attorney General to pull her off the bench, this is going to hit the national airwaves, and people are going to understand who you are and make everything change for the better. And then start forcing people to look at Harry Reid again. Harry Reid tried to sell land out from under the Bundys because of some solar project he had and an agreement he had with China. Yeah, Harry Reid did this. By the way, guess where Harry Reid lives? Not bad for a man who was born in a brothel. Or at least that's the story. No. Force her off the bench. She's going to force these people to stand trial for a third time because she's, doing this, which amounts, as it says here, to revenge prosecution. Yeah. Force her off the bench. Now, Nevada, force her off the bench. Attorney General of Nevada, force her off the bench. Take her off the bench. Go to her boss and say, here's what you're doing. You're getting off the bench. We're putting somebody in there that stands for the Constitution and the rights of the people, period. And the Attorney General has the ability by law to acquit and totally nullify this whole thing. That's the Attorney General of Nevada. Now, I may have overlooked something, so I may be wrong. I don't know. I may have overlooked something. Pete Santilli, independent journalist, is still in prison. Why? Yeah, good question. Why is he still in prison? This is ridiculous. Judge Navarro, the Harry Reid handpicked candidate that President Obama nominated to be to the federal bench in 2009, has decided Drexler and Parker will be included among the 7 Bundy Ranch standoff defendants, including rancher Cliven Bundy, who's in prison as well. He's an old man. Get him out. Scheduled to stand trial on October 10th, this trial is expected to last about 2 months. How do they know? How do they know? You know what I'm saying? There was a letter, a copy of a letter was also addressed to President Trump, and you can see that on American Liberty Radio podcast. Even more outrageous. Well, let's put it this way. At the trial that ended August 22nd, U.S. District Judge Gloria Navarro had refused to allow attorneys for the defendants to present arguments regarding First Amendment free speech rights or Second Amendment right to bear arms, ruling both lines of argumentation were not relevant to the criminal charges the four defendants faced. What criminal charges? By the way, if Oregon saw through this masquerade bullcrap, what the hell? They were all acquitted, all of them. All of them were acquitted in Oregon. And then they had to be brought back to Nevada to, deal with this crap. Even more outrageous, Jerry DeLemus of Rochester, New Hampshire, was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment after U.S. District Judge Gloria M. Navarro refused to allow him to change his guilty plea to not guilty. Tell me again the miscarriage of justice in this whole thing? In denying DeLemus the right to change his plea, Judge Navarro ruled DeLemus had failed to display sufficient remorse for his actions, rejecting the argument his Sixth Amendment rights had been violated because DeLemus lacked adequate legal counsel capable of apprising him of the legal charges and assisting him in pleading with full knowledge of the facts of the law and the law. What? Excuse me? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. What? It's on American Liberty Radio podcast on Facebook. Roger Stone, the former campaign manager of Donald Trump and friend of Donald Trump for over 40 years, says this. Roger Stone has pointed out an underlying factor in the Bundy Ranch case is that former Democratic Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid wanted the Bundy Ranch land to install Chinese solar panels in a deal where the Chinese company seeking to build the solar panels plant had employed lawyer Rory Reid, Harry Reid's son, to be the primary representative for the U.S. corporation fronting the deal. Now serving out the remaining 6 years of his prison term, DeLemus was permanently moved in August to a federal prison at Fort Devens in Ayers, Massachusetts, some 90 minutes away from his home and his wife, because he wanted to change his guilty plea to not guilty. And the judge went, no, I'm not accepting that because, and they made up some bullcrap. It's on American Liberty Radio podcast. Go check that out. I just highlighted some stuff there. This is bullcrap, folks. This is absolute bullcrap. I cannot tell you the miscarriage of justice happening in Nevada right now. Nevada citizens, go, patriots, anybody, everybody, go to that courtroom and demand that she be taken off the bench right now, period. And demand that Harry Reid be arrested, period. Go do this. I want to see video. I want to see, just send it to me. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. I want to see what goes on, man. Are you guys for America or against America? Are you guys for defending the freedoms of people, or are you guys just going to sit there and let's let the law take care of this? It's a miscarriage of justice, and you know it. I'll be back right after this. Don't go away. Holy crap. Talk to you in a bit. American Liberty Radio. Weebly.com.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Growing up terrestrial radio, the future is here. Destroying the liberal media one truth bomb at a time. Independent media is shattering the liberal national security media into a million pieces. Their views of the world are based on the script the government gives them. Independent media seeks out and finds the truth and reports on what is truly going on behind the scenes. Support the truth and facts. Support independent media. American Liberty Radio Network.
Hey, folks, welcome. This is the 7th of September, 2017. This is the American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Welcome, folks. Welcome. Lots of things going on. Lots of things happening. Lots of things in your face. Are you paying attention? Just wanting to know. Just wanting to put it out there. Just want you to know stuff's going on. That's why I'm here, letting you know about it. The leftists are just completely insane. I'm just going to lay that out there and let you guys judge that. The leftists are completely insane. September 7th, 2017, Fox News is reporting leftist group wants Kid Rock concert canceled. Potential U.S. Senate candidate draws heat from censorship mob. Yeah, Kid Rock running for Senate. I'm not laughing because it's not possible. I'm laughing because, can you imagine? The House recognizes Kid Rock. I'm just wondering. Go for it, folks. The choice of Kid Rock as the opening act for a new sports arena in mostly black Detroit has injected the musician into the national debate over race and culture because of his embrace of Confederate flag, an expletive-laced criticism of NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick, and unabashed support of President Donald Trump. Olympia Entertainment selected Kid Rock to open up a new Little Caesars Arena with concerts next week. Kid Rock, who is white, has been lauded for his philanthropy and support of Detroit, but his recent criticism of Kaepernick has prompted one civil rights organization in Detroit to plan to protest and call for the concerts to be canceled. Kaepernick, who is black, refused to stand during the national anthem while with the San Francisco 49ers last year in protest of police violence and social injustice. Okay, first of all, I didn't follow the Kaepernick story, but I heard a lot about it. Let me just say this on both accounts of Kid Rock and Kaepernick. Kid Rock has a right to do whatever he needs to do to make a living. The private company, Olympia Entertainment has a right to do whatever they want to do. Either cancel or, whatever. Cancel the show, whatever they want. Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick has a right to express himself in any way, shape, or form that he wishes in disagreement to whatever is going on. Police violence and social injustice, as it says here in the article. He can do that. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. What makes this whole thing part of the news cycle is the fact that it's happening, number one, and number two, it's Colin Kaepernick. Not so much Kid Rock. It's Colin Kaepernick. Let me also say this. In connection to that, we have Kid Rock. We have Kid Rock, who is and I've heard him in interviews, and I've seen him and all that. Looks like a great guy. Seems like a stand-up individual, down to earth, very, typical for, or I should say, untypical, if that's a word, of rock stars. But then you have a company, Olympia Entertainment, considering canceling a show or being protested against for having Kid Rock open up this arena, open up Little Caesars Arena. I know it sounds confusing. I know that. I'm hearing myself, and I know this sounds very confusing. So what is this whole thing about? This is Fox News Entertainment, by the way. Okay. Let me go here. And I'll post this Fox News Entertainment piece on American Liberty Radio podcast. I hate when videos just start by themselves. Kid Rock, let me go here. Kid Rock is from Detroit suburbs and proudly claims the city as his home. Has 6 concerts scheduled at the $860 million 20,000-seat arena starting Tuesday, a move that Peter Hammer, director of Damon J. Keith Center of Civil Rights at Detroit's Wayne State University, called, quote, incredibly tone-deaf, unquote. Quote, everything is different post-Charlottesville, unquote, Hammer said, referring to the white nationalist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia on August 12th that resulted in the death of one counter-protester and injuries to many more. Quote, these are moments where you have to act as a matter of character and state what your values are, unquote, Hammer added. Quote, everything is now becoming symbolic. That means we have to choose our symbols carefully, unquote. Kid Rock's publicist, Kurt Webster, did not immediately provide comment Wednesday. The request to cancel Kid Rock's concerts came from the National Action Network's Detroit chapter, which plans to protest next week. The group has previously criticized Kid Rock for his displaying the Confederate flag at concerts. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio podcast. I am going to encourage you to read it, assess it however you want. I got to tell you, and I'm going to be straight up with you, I'm going to tell you, this is ridiculous. Anybody protesting Kid Rock's concert because they feel triggered by his, whatever. It's stupid. Stop it. Just stop your insanity. Stop your ignorance. Learn something. Get a freaking clue. Go out and join the civilians in reality, will you? Seriously. President Trump rescinded the DACA. Remember that? He did that the other day. people talked about it. Chris Menahan over at informationliberation.com. Coulter on Trump's DACA pivot, quote, I guess you forgot the angel moms after all, unquote. Oh, she criticizes Trump like you wouldn't believe. And Coulter blasted Donald Trump for pivoting on DACA and suggested he wants Congress to give amnesty to illegals. And Coulter, she says on Wednesday, she said, quote, I guess you forgot the angel moms after all. You forgot Jamil Shaw, all the people you promised you would never forget, and you would put Americans first, and you would not grant any amnesty, unquote. And do not be fooled, Mark Simone. This is 100% amnesty across the board for all illegal aliens, unquote, Coulter said. There's a lot of tweets. So I'm going to put this on American Liberty Radio podcast. There's a video in the article as well. So, do I like Ann Coulter? Some things she says are a little outrageous. Some of the things she says I agree with her about, but not everything. You know? Let me talk about Korea. I'm going to talk about Korea here for a minute and just say this, that it says here, Mikhail Thalen over at Infowars.com yesterday on the 6th of September 2017 said, Trump, military action not first choice for North Korea, quote, but we'll see what happens, unquote, Trump says following call with Chinese president. Yeah. Quote, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, unquote, Trump told reporters when asked about a potential military scenario. Quote, certainly that's not the first choice, but we'll see what happens, unquote. Trump, who described a discussion with Jinping, was a, quote, very, very frank and very strong phone call, unquote, stated that he and his Chinese counterpart were in agreement over North Korea. I'm going to put this on American Liberty Radio podcast. Check it out, folks. There's more. I mean, highlighting some stuff here for you guys, suggesting that you guys go read it and do your homework, you know. I got to ask a question, though. I have to put this out here, and I have to, you know, I need to ask. At the very core of your beliefs, how do you think those beliefs were designed? How do you think they were created? Why do you think you are portraying your beliefs in your life the way you do? Those are 3 questions, I know, but good ones. Your environment where you grew up is the key teacher of how you become in life later on. This is true with anybody. There's 7.5 billion people on this planet, and I'm sure they all have a story for you. You are the sum of your environment. Your mother, your father, aunts, uncles, cousins, teachers, co-workers, go down the list. They all teach you something. Something resonates in you to such a degree to where you then step out into the mold that your environment made specifically for you. My point is this. Get the hell out of your environment and start thinking for yourself. And start putting forth ideas that you've created. Get rid of your preconceived ideas. Get rid of everything you've learned. Just don't obsess over all of that and just say, okay, I'm going to start all over again. I'm wiping the slate clean. Here's what I'm going to do. Because once you step out of that environment and step out of those walls that other people put up around you and you start looking into what you came out of, yeah, you're going to say, why didn't I get the hell out of that sooner? Okay. I've been there, folks. I know what I'm talking about. Been there a couple of times, but I've been there. Yesterday, Yesterday, 6th of September 2017, Alex Jones hunts Democrat roaches with Ted Nugent. Quote, the spotlight has finally hit the right cockroaches, unquote. Alex Jones discovered a Democrat cockroach crawling through his house looking for a free handout. Following the advice of Uncle Ted, Alex shines a light on those that would steal our liberty. Yeah, let me tell you something, folks. It's a video, so I'm going to put this on American Liberty Radio Podcast. But let me tell you something. Ted Nugent, yeah, I've followed his career for quite some time since he was with the Amboy Dukes. And let me tell you something. You want to talk about unabashed honesty and getting up in your face. This guy knows how to do it. Uncle Ted is just, he's the homie you need in your corner. That's just the way it is, man. He needs to run for president, but he'd be, pulling triggers here and there. So I don't think we need that at this point. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. Okay. CNN's Hurricane Insanity goes full libtard. Liberals are upset about the gender of hurricanes. Oh, my God. Let me just put that insanity on American Liberty Radio Podcast for you to assess that. It's God. I'm just, it's just, yeah, folks, I'm just, hey, everybody in Florida, hunker down or get the hell out. It's your choice. I'm just saying, okay? I'm putting it there. There you go. Dan Lyman over at Infowars.com, 7th of September 2017. God, screwing up today, aren't I? It's September 7th, 2017. Hungarian PM warns, quote, the Islamization, there we go. See, some words just shouldn't even be allowed in the English language. The Islamization of Europe is real. Viktor Orban identifies existential threat to European civilization. Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban has once again identified the existential threat facing European civilization in blunt terms, warning that the continent is being Islamized, there we go, that waves of immigrants will only increase in intensity during years to come. He also stated his opinion that countries like the United States and China will reject this transformation in a way that parts of Europe may not. In other words, we don't want it. China doesn't want it. China was just unequivocally has just come out and said, no, this ain't happening in their country. The U.S. is going, get the hell out now. He cited that as many as 60 million Africans could attempt to invade Europe by the year 2020, sending the already burgeoning Islamic population skyrocketing in a few short years with millions more to come. The Global Strategic Trends Report, released by the UK Ministry of Defence, states, quote, in sub-Saharan Africa alone, in sub-Saharan Africa alone, some 60 million people are expected to move from desertified desert, desert. They're moving out of the desert. They're not in the desert. There's cities out there, okay? They're moving from areas in northern Africa and Europe by 2020. And this figure is highly likely to increase by 2045, unquote. Really? Interesting. I'd like to know where he gets his statistics from, because I don't agree with that. See, I don't agree with stuff. I don't agree that it will be, increasing by 2020 and, overtaken by 2045. It's just not... In my mind, as I'm calculating that as I'm speaking, that just doesn't add up. 60 million that just, something is wrong with his statistics. I don't know what it is, but something is wrong with his statistics. Schlichter, Is that right? Slichter, I guess. Woke conservatives threaten rhino status quo. Hashtag never Trump GOP politicians to face consequences in 2018. Yeah, they're all going to be voted out. But who's going to take their place? More Republicans? I don't know. So what does the GOP establishment do in 2018 when it comes before us dirty, nasty normals and tries to make the case that its members deserve being reelected to Congress instead of being tarred and feathered? Yeah, that's a good question. I'm going to put that up on American Liberty Radio podcast. Good question. Good question. Okay. Tarred and feathered. If you go back and look at that, and look at where that term came from, it was literally running people out on a rail. That's another term. They would literally pour tar on a person and put feathers on the person from chickens and send them out of town. That, go look that up. That's is it an urban myth? I don't know. Or historical myth? I have no idea. But that's where the story came from. Little history lesson for you. Oh, here's this completely, I'll just be nice. Daily Caller is reporting, did Imran want Capitol Police to find Wasserman Schultz's laptop? The laptop had the username RepDWS, a laptop that Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz has frantically fought to keep prosecutors from examining, may have been planted for police to find by her since indicted staffer Imran Awan, along with a letter to the U.S. Attorney. Interesting. So we're going to put that on American Liberty Radio podcast as well. How can anyone sit by and watch America fail? Well, good question. How can anyone stand by, sit back, and watch America fail? I've never understood why people want to protest or fight against peace, freedom, liberty, and security for this nation. I don't understand it. I don't know. Somebody want to fill me in on why this happens? Because I know for a fact, and it's perfectly clear after the 40 years that I've been researching this stuff, it's perfectly clear that the Democrats, the liberals, the rhinos, the dinos, the linos, all these people, they don't want America to be great again. As of today, the 7th of September, 2017. They don't want America to be great. They don't. And people that support them don't want America to be great. They want to completely collapse the United States of America as it is right now. They want to completely collapse it, rebuild it to where the government, and this is the libtards I'm talking about, they want the government to give them everything for free, including money, education, medical, whatever. They want it for free. They want the government to be the sugar daddy for them. That's what they want. That's exactly what they want. What they refuse to accept are two things. One, the rest of the American people don't want that, and we're gonna defend this nation against them. That's number one. They won't accept that. And number two, they won't accept the fact that once the globalists and the elites and all those people that are trying to collapse the nation with their help, once they are done, if their goals are accomplished and they do collapse the United States of America, their supporters that help them get there are all going to be in the crosshairs, and they're going to be wiped out just like a lot of other people. They don't want to accept that. They think they're going to get cushy jobs. They think they're going to get this. They want the government to force businesses to hire them no matter who they are. no matter what they are. This is why I probably triggered somebody. I don't really care. At least I got my finger on the trigger. Know what I'm saying? But they don't like that. They want to completely collapse the United States of America, get rid of the Constitution, get rid of the Bill of Rights. They want people like me, like Alex Jones, Rush Limbaugh, Nick Tucker, Brian Lang, Michael Vera. They want all of us shut down because they don't want an opposing view of anything, and they want their narrative to be the only one everybody will ever hear. That's it. That's it. The only unfortunate part about that is there's an inherent flaw in their logic. I use logic in air quotes. It's the fact that whatever they're striving for will and has in the history of any type of society will never work. Never. Socialism has collapsed in Venezuela. Remember when President Obama, when he first got elected, the first couple of weeks he went over and talked with Hugo Chavez? Remember that? Remember that picture of him shaking hands with Hugo Chavez? Yeah. He supported socialism, Obama did. He supported socialism. And guess where Venezuela is right now? A completely collapsed nation. Everybody's fighting everybody for everything that they want. Guess what? It's never going to change. Socialism, any brand of totalitarianism is never going to work and has always failed throughout history. Get it through your damn thick heads. The Democratic Socialists and the Republican Fascists want this nation collapsed to bring it under a more tyrannical type of politics and government. But what they don't understand, I'm talking rhinos, dinos, and linos as well, what they don't understand is it's never going to work. And they'll point fingers over at Russia and places like that going, well, see how it works over there? Have you talked to the citizens over there? I've looked at some of the laws that are over in Russia from Moscow, from the Kremlin. Guess what? Here's the strange part about this, folks. Russia, under the leadership of President Vladimir Putin, Russia has better freedoms than we do. They have just as much freedom of speech as we do. They have just as much freedom of having weapons for personal protection as we do. Oh, well, then what's the problem? The problem is that the libtards, the communists, the Marxists, the totalitarianists in this country want a completely collapsed nation to rebuild it in their image of giving the store away for free. And they want the rich to pay for it. And when I'm talking rich, I'm talking billionaires, people that make, 10, 15, 20, 30, $500 million a year. These corporations, they want the corporations to pay for everything they want, education, medical, whatever. And they're going to say, well, why not? They make the money. Why not give it to us? Because you don't have pride in yourself and your self-image is damaged because of the environment that you live in, because you were taught that if things go wrong, go to the government. If things are, if you need help, go to the government. No. Time out, folks. My daddy was born in 1930 in a small town in Michigan. And let me tell you something. They had no freaking help from the government. My dad was the third oldest of 12 kids. Third oldest of 12 kids. My grandpa farmed 180 acres. My dad was there helping out. My dad got up in the morning, fed the chickens, did all the farm stuff, went to school, came home, and finished up. You know what I'm saying? No help from the government. No help at all from the government. Okay? None. None. I'm going to go to break, folks. Not long. Oh, it's not long. It's okay. Just chill, man. I'll be back. Don't worry about it. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com.
In a world where everything seems to be upside down and backwards, and all hope seems to be lost, there is one voice sharing the truth, revealing the facts, without all the bullshit. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com.
The History of America Abridged.
Excuse me?
That's right. The History of America Abridged. Nova Center for the Performing Arts presents The History of America Abridged. Who really discovered America? Why did Abe Lincoln free the slaves? How many Democrats does it take to screw in a light bulb?
What?
Nova Center for the Performing Arts will answer those questions and more.
I hope so.
They will. May I continue?
Yes.
That's The History of America Abridged, presented by Nova Center for the Performing Arts. For more information about dates and times and tickets, contact Nova Center for the Performing Arts on their website at www.novabillings.org.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I am wondering, why are you here? Do or do not. There is no try. Do, there is no try. Do or do not. There is no try. I am wondering, why are you here?
Sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Create your own podcast. Spreaker.com has it all. Set up your account and get ready to record podcasts or host live radio shows from your computer or mobile device. Spreaker's wide range of tools covers every step of the podcasting process, from simple recording and broadcasting apps to analytics on your audience. You can upload files or migrate content over using the RSS importer. Host your show today. For more information, go to Spreaker.com.
Hey, folks, how you doing? This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com, or you can find me on American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook, or at American Liberty Radio on Spreaker.com. And I'm on iTunes and Google Play Music, and yeah, I'm just all over the place. I'm trying to get on Stitcher, and I don't know about iHeartRadio. Can you folks tell me more about iHeart? I just emailed them, and they said the maximum length of music is 30 seconds. As you can tell, mine's not even close to that. So anyway. But I know people that have minute and a half music, that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah. So let me know. Looking to expand is why I ask. So how are you? Email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. Ask me any question you like. No question is off limits. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. It's pretty much it, folks. So there you go. EPA workforce approaching lowest levels since Reagan. Hundreds of employees take early retirement under Trump. Elizabeth Harrington at the freebeacon.com. 6th of September, 2017. That was yesterday. Hundreds of employees have accepted buyouts and taken early retirement since President Donald Trump's inauguration. According to an EPA official, Congress put a cap on the number of people the EPA can employ at 15,000 in the 2017 omnibus bill. By the end of September, the EPA will employ 14,459 people, with dozens still considering buyout offers. Last month, 374 employees took buyouts. An additional 33 employees are retiring at the end of September, and 45 others are considering early retirement offers. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, EPA, Environmental Protection Administration. Why? I'm just saying. I just put it out there. Just laying it right out there in your face. There you go. Just wondering. We need to protect the environment. Yeah, we the people need to protect the environment. The environment's going to do its thing, okay? So there's nothing that we can do. The environment's going to take care of itself, folks. I'm just saying, the environment is going to take care of itself, and it's shuffling off its mortal coil as we speak, because we got fires in Washington, Oregon, Nevada, California, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, west of where I'm at here in Billings, Montana. And there's a fire out east of us, or northeast of us here as well. So we had smoke in the air, so, you know. It's kind of dissipated at the moment, so we don't know what else is going to happen. But on top of that, we have earthquakes. Yeah, what? Earthquakes in Montana? Yeah, a bunch of them in Lincoln, Montana. Over also by Helena, there was one. There were 20 as of last week. The last report I saw, there were 2,300 earthquakes and tremors near Yellowstone. By the way, Yellowstone National Park is on top of a massive volcanic caldera. Okay? Just putting it out there. Anybody living in this area, we need to move. We need to pack up and get the hell out. Because 2,300 tremors and earthquakes, is it just burping? This is what I'm just wanting to know. Is the earth kind of over here in Yellowstone just burping? Is that what it is? Just kind of releasing some of its, built up gases and stuff? Well, if it gets any worse, and there was, I think the largest earthquake near Yellowstone was 4.3 on the Richter scale. So if it gets any worse than that, yeah, we're hightailing it out of here. We're going to go to Georgia or something. I'll deal with the hurricanes and all of that over, the earth opening up and swallowing us. You know what I mean? It's like, or burning us to death. You know what I'm saying? Is it going to happen? I don't know. Scientists, I'm going to say NASA, not a straight answer, says that it's overdue for a major eruption. And some of the statistics and independent scientists have said the same thing. But, again, my question is the Earth burping? I just want to know. Is it letting off a little gas? Is it doing is the Earth farting over there is what I'm saying? It's like, so anyway, I don't make light of this, but I'm trying to kind of, it's the gallows humor type thing. So, Congressman, dreamers will make great Peace Corps volunteers in home countries. Mexico said they would take in nationals with open arms, unquote. Washington Examiner is reporting this on the 6th of September, yesterday. Republican Representative Steve King thinks recipients of the Deferred Action and Childhood Arrivals program should be sent to their home countries as Peace Corps volunteers. Quote, none would take more hardship or risk than we ask of Peace Corps. Unquote. King wrote Tuesday, after the Trump administration announced its decision to rescind the program enacted by former President Barack Obama in 2012. Says read more, so I'll put this on the American Liberty Radio podcast page. Yeah. I'll just let you read it, assess it, judge it, whatever it is you want to do. Yeah, big long sigh. Business Insider is reporting House of Representatives approves an $8 billion emergency aid for Harvey relief. Aid measure to be sent to the White House for approval by end of the week. This is yesterday, 6th of September, 2017. The U.S. House of Representatives on Wednesday approved roughly $8 billion in initial emergency aid for relief and rebuilding for Hurricane Harvey, which tore into Texas on the August 25th. The House passed a measure which provides $7.4 billion of federal emergency management agency and $450 million for the Small Business Administration will now go to the Senate, barring unexpected setbacks. The aid measure is expected to be sent to the White House by the end of the week. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is considering linking the Harvey aid to a measure to raise the debt ceiling. That's called a rider, folks. When they do that, they put in something else on top of something. It's called a rider. Or the federal government's borrowing limit that would run through the 2018 midterm elections, aides said. Yeah, let's just get rid of that rider and just help people out instead of politicizing this whole thing. I'm going to put that on American Liberty. It says read more, so I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio podcast. How in the world do people go to sleep at night? No, I'm serious. Yeah, you close your eyes, you lay down, and yeah. I get that. But knowing how they think, knowing what they want, knowing how to, knowing who they are, having, or I should say, trying to understand who they are. I've always wondered how they go to sleep at night. I mean, knowing that they're screwing things up left and right. They're, they're doing the best they can. How do they sleep at night? How do they? I don't get it. When they know that these politicians in Washington, D.C., when they know that they're going up against policies and bills and all of this to try to make America great again and to rebuild it or build it stronger than it was before, how can these politicians sleep at night knowing that they're going against that? And why are they adding riders to certain bills because they want their agenda to be fulfilled and pay this lobbyist and pay that special interest group off and all? How can they sleep at night knowing that they are corrupt as hell trying to get this stuff done? I don't get it. I don't get it. Seriously, tell me, because I have no clue. I don't know. Elizabeth Harrington, freebeacon.com, September 5th, a few days ago, 5th of September, 2017. Feds paid dead veterans $37 million. Army veteran paid retirement benefits 26 years after his death. What? The Social Security Administration made $37 million worth of benefit payments to dead veterans, according to a new audit. The Inspector General for the agency reported more retirement and disability payments could be made to deceased individuals if action is not taken to correct the government's death record system. Payments to roughly 750 dead people resulted in millions of taxpayer dollars wasted, including one instance where an individual continued to receive benefits 26 years after his death. Wonder who was cashing the checks. Quote, SSA issued payments to 3,925 beneficiaries who had dates of death in the VA records, unquote, the Inspector General said. Quote, our audit results indicated that at least 11% of these beneficiaries were alive, and death information on VA's records were erroneous. However, our audit results also indicated that at least 19% of these beneficiaries were deceased, and death information in VA records was accurate. Unquote. Says read more, so I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook. Facebook is censoring conservative people. I would say ultra-conservative because, I'm just giving you information here. That's all I'm doing. Encouraging you to go look it up. That's all I'm doing. Folks. How do these people sleep at night? I'm just wondering. How do these people know, these things that they do is completely and totally wrong? Do they even have a clue? Do they even have a clue? I'm wondering. Because I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I wish I knew because, these people, these politicians that are going against peace, freedom, liberty, and security and violating their oath of office and violating the principles of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. These people have to sleep at night, don't they? But how do they? Do they wake up with night terrors and scream in the middle of the night knowing that what they're doing is wrong? I'm just wondering because, I don't know. I'd like to know. How do they sleep at night? Is that why they are? Is that why most of them drink too much? I don't know. I don't know. I do know that people who are of a conservative nature who work in Washington, D.C., I've seen them like Rand Paul and people like that. They're doing their best to stop the insanity from continuing. Okay? So I applaud them. There's very few of them, but I applaud them. I also look at the situation going on in Washington, D.C., and that they don't like the politicians. There are certain politicians there that don't like people like Rand Paul holding their feet to the fire and calling them on things and holding them responsible for this, I understand this. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's always going to be conflict, always. I'm sure England is that way. I'm sure the UK is that way too. Because they're in a similar battle with their parliament. The people are fighting for their rights and everything like that. So they're in a similar battle. Makes you just want to move to Russia, doesn't it? But they have problems too. I'm not saying they don't. Are people on their retirement systems? No, they're privatized, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think their retirement systems over there are private. I don't think there's a fund in the federal government over there in the Russian parliament or in the Russian Kremlin that is earmarked for retirees. I don't know, but correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to go research that. That's good because I don't know. Like I said, if I don't know something, I'll tell you I don't know. But from my point of view over here in the United States of America, all retirement should be individualized and privatized for that specific person, period, end of sentence. The government needs to stay the hell out of retirement. They need to give me all my money that I've put into Social Security, into FICA. Give me all that money right now. Just give it all to me now. I don't want it going to everybody else. I want my money. Okay? That's what I want. Yeah. I'll invest my money in what I want to invest it in and make and draw the dividends from that investment. Why not? You know? So anyway. Anywho, let's go over to, I have time for one more. I'm going to see what Breitbart is talking about today. Dina Powell partnered with Clinton Foundation for Goldman Sachs Globalist Initiative. What? Corruption in the Clinton Foundation? Holy crap. 7th of September 2017. When she served as president of the Goldman Sachs Foundation, the philanthropic arm of Wall Street giant, White House Deputy National Security Advisor Dina Habib Powell repeatedly partnered with the Clinton Global Initiative for a globalist women's project that served as the centerpiece of Goldman's charitable foundation. Besides partnership with CGI, Powell's foundation also directly funded the Clinton Foundation and partnered with Hillary Clinton's State Department. Powell herself was associated with numerous groups and projects linked to the Clintons. Powell served as president of Goldman Sachs Foundation, where she ran the foundation's projects for Goldman Sachs, was implicated in the 2007-2008 financial crisis and sought to resurrect its shattered image. I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio podcast. Yeah, that's corruption, folks. That's money laundering, corruption, you name it, it's there. It's, staring you in the face. I may have overlooked something. So, I don't know. You want to talk about libtard, completely insane woman. She needs to retire or she needs to be forced out of office. Quote unquote, you have nothing to worry about. Nancy Pelosi prompts Donald Trump tweet to DACA illegals. If you're here illegally, get the hell out. President Trump continued to signal support for illegal immigrants. Get this. President Donald Trump continued to signal support for illegal immigrants brought to the United States as children who received executive amnesty from former President Obama's DACA program. Quote, for all of those DACA that are concerned about your status during the 6-month period, you have nothing to worry about. No action, unquote, Trump wrote on Twitter on Thursday. Okay, that's Donald Trump saying, don't worry about it, got nothing to worry about. We'll re-examine this in 6 months. That right there is a great thing to do business-wise. Okay, great thing to do because they're going to, in 6 months, if these rhinos, dinos, or linos can't even get a single piece of paper together and write on it and say, here's what immigration should be, and give it to President Trump, these people need to be sent home. They need to be sent packing and fired from Congress. Politico reporter Heather Cagle noted on Twitter that a source told her that the White House minority leader Nancy Pelosi called Trump to ask him to tweet the message of hope for DACA kids. Axios reporter Alexei McCammon confirmed the news from a Democratic aide. New York Times reporter Maggie Haberman offered further illumination about Pelosi's role in Trump's message. Maggie Haberman, at Maggie NYT. Correction, Trump called Pelosi, not the other way around. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders confirmed to White House reporters that Trump did speak with Pelosi, as well as Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, and House Speaker Paul Ryan. Quote, the president is committed to working across the aisle and doing what is needed to best serve the American people. The president is also having dinner with Speaker Ryan later tonight, unquote. After Attorney General Jeff Sessions announced the administration's decision to end DACA, Trump stressed that he fully supports taking care of DACA recipients. He repeatedly urged Congress on Wednesday to send him a bill to legalize DACA recipients permanently. Quote, I'd like to see a permanent deal. I think it's going to happen, unquote, he said to reporters on Wednesday. Quote, I think we're going to have great support on both sides of Congress, unquote. He's also said that he's going to re-examine it. Take a look at it, Try to find something that's going to work for everybody. I say legal immigration is the way to go. I'm pro-legal immigration. Don't just walk over the border and think we're going to give you stuff. It ain't going to happen. We'll toss your ass back over the border. Do it legally. With what Donald Trump said yesterday and the day before, I can almost say this. I don't want to guarantee it, but I can almost say this, that in 6 months he'll look at this again and hope that there's a new bill in place that he can sign that will permanently give these people what they need to stay here. I'm not too crazy about it, but unfortunately, that's the way the ball bounced in 2012 when former President Barack Obama signed this. It was a backdoor amnesty. Now, is he going to condone the amnesty, or is President Trump going to condone the amnesty? I don't know, but we've got to look at it. He's got to examine it and find out what's best for America, and I totally agree with that. Well, what's best for the people that are here? Well, they're already here. They're doing their best to survive. Give them credit for that. What if he doesn't? The argument is that he'll sign something that will cause the Department of Homeland Security to pack up these people and send them back to where they came from. Logically, that's not possible. Because they've been here for, 10, 20, 30 years already. If they came here as children at 1 or 2 or 3 years old, they're already in their 20s, possibly cruising into their 30s. So what are we going to do? Pack them up and send them off? No, let's re-examine all of this. And to me, my opinion is legal immigration. They shouldn't be here in the first place on that account, but switch that. Turn the coin over, look at what's here, now that they're here, why not? Let's take a look at it. Let's examine it. Let's look at it. Let's see what we can do now that they're here. Reagan did the same thing in 1986. He signed an amnesty bill that just gave, at that time it was reported, 11 million illegal immigrants full citizenship. Right, just amnesty across the board, right? They didn't have to worry about being sent packing, right? Numbers have come out since then that it was closer to 20 to 22 million people. So who knows? So let's re-examine this. Let's look at it. Let's see what we can do. What's best for the American people? And we'll just go from there. But I'm pro-legal immigration. You do it the right way in the first place, you won't have to deal with this crap later on. Okay? That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Why are we even arguing this point? You just got to look at what's going on, examine it, pay attention, let's figure it out, let's do what's best for America and the American citizens, and we'll just go from there. I don't see anything wrong with that. Oh, you're racist. Oh, I probably triggered somebody with that. I don't really care. Shut up. I'm going to go away now. This is American Liberty Radio, American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com, sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.